You've seen a job ad, right? We all have. But what if I told you that the real work behind that ad is one of the biggest keys to a company's success or its failure? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how the smartest companies treat hiring not as just another task, but as their core strategy. Let's get into it. Okay, let's kick things off with a perfect example, the Four Seasons. Their entire brand, their whole strategy is built on one thing, that amazing top-tier customer service. But here's the thing, you can't have world-class service without world-class employees. So you see, for them, recruiting isn't just about filling jobs, it's about finding the very specific people who can actually deliver on that core promise to their customers. And that, right there, is the big idea. There is a direct, unbreakable link between a company's goals and the people it hires. It's a straight line. If you want to be the most innovative company in the world, you've got to hire innovators. If you want to be the most efficient, you need to hire people who are obsessed with efficiency. You get the people part wrong, well, that brilliant strategy is just a piece of paper. This connection is the absolute heart of strategic recruiting. All right, so here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll dig into the why your people are your strategy. Then we'll get practical and talk about building a recruiting blueprint and how to actually hunt for candidates. After that, we'll look to the future with succession planning. And finally, we'll tie it all together to see how this works as a complete system. First things first. Every single person you hire is a strategic decision. You're not just plugging a hole in the org chart, you are literally building the engine that's going to power your company. Think about it. Who you invite onto your bus, well, that decides where you're going and just how fast you're going to get there. So if hiring is so strategic, how do you actually do it that way? Well, the answer might surprise you. It doesn't start when you write up a job description. No, it starts way, way before that with a solid blueprint. This is about shifting from being reactive, oh no, someone quit, to being proactive and thinking about what your company's going to need down the road. And there's a name for this blueprint. It's called workforce planning. It's really just the process of looking at your company's big picture goals and asking, okay, to hit those goals, what kind of team do we actually need? What jobs are absolutely essential? And where are we going to find these amazing people? It's all about mapping your talent directly to your business strategy. Now, just to give you a feel for how massive this whole thing is, let's do a quick thought experiment. Let's say your company needs to bring on 50 new people this year. How many potential candidates, leads, do you think you need to find to end up with those 50 perfect hires? What do you think? 200? Maybe 500? Well, brace yourself. The answer, as this recruiting yield pyramid shows, is a whopping 1,200. I mean, just let that sink in. To get those 50 hires at the very top, you have to start with 1,200 potential leads at the very bottom. From there, maybe you invite 200 to a phone screen, you interview 150 of those, you make 100 offers, and you hope that 50 of them say yes. It's just this massive funnel, which is why starting with a huge quality pool of candidates is everything. Okay, so you need a massive pool of people. The big question is, where on earth do you find them? And that leads us right into the hunt for candidates. Generally speaking, you've really got two main hunting grounds, inside your own company and out in the big wide world.
So you've got two main options here, internal or external sources. Promoting from within? Awesome. You get people who already get the culture, they know the business, and it's a huge morale booster. Hiring from the outside? That's how you get fresh blood, new ideas, and skills you might not have in-house. The really healthy companies, they do a bit of both.
Now, when big companies look inside, it's not just some random guessing game, not at all. And what you're looking at here is a real peek behind the curtain. This is a personnel replacement chart. It's a tool that lets managers map out their entire team's potential. They can see someone's performance, their promotability, are they ready to move up now, or do they need some coaching, and exactly what they need to work on. It's like a strategic treasure map of their own talent. And for finding people outside the company, wow, the options are pretty much endless these days. It's so much more than just posting on a job site. Smart companies are building their brands on social media to attract people. And here's a pro tip. Employee referrals. Seriously, this is a goldmine. Great people tend to know other great people. The real key is to have a strategy that uses a little bit of everything, from visiting college campuses to tapping into that growing freelance world. Okay, so you filled the jobs you need to fill today. Great, but what about the jobs you're going to need to fill tomorrow? Especially the most important jobs in the whole company. This is where we shift gears from just recruiting to playing the long game, succession planning. I just love this image. It says it all, right? Succession planning is all about that smooth handoff. It means that when your star player or your key leader decides to retire or move on, you're not in a panic. You've already got the next generation of leaders warmed up and ready to grab that baton and keep the company moving forward without skipping a beat. So, what is succession planning really? Let's break it down. It's a formal process that has two really important parts. First, you've got to identify your critical positions, the roles that, if they were suddenly empty, would put you in serious trouble. And second, you create specific, individual action plans to develop people who have the potential to fill those spots one day. It's about building your bench before you're in the middle of a big game. And it's not magic. There's a process to it. It really boils down to these 5 logical steps. You start by identifying those all-important positions. Then you take a hard look at your current employees to see who's got that high potential. You build a profile of what it takes to be successful in that key role. Then comes the most important part. You actually develop those people with training, mentoring, and coaching. And finally, you have to remember this is a living, breathing thing. You're constantly evaluating and reviewing your plan. Okay, let's start to tie all these threads together. Because as you've probably figured out by now, none of this stuff happens in a silo. Workforce planning, recruiting, succession planning, they're all interconnected pieces of a much larger strategic system. And really, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Strategic recruiting is not a one-time event that you do when a job opens up. It's a continuous cycle. It's like a flywheel that's always spinning. You're always planning your future team, you're always sourcing new talent, and you're always developing the amazing people you already have. And it's all done to drive the company's biggest goals. And this flow chart here, it's the perfect way to see the whole journey from start to finish. You can see it all laid out. It starts on the left with that workforce planning we talked about. Then it moves into building up that big pool of candidates. And then you guide them through the process, the applications, the interviews, all of it, until finally the right person becomes your new employee, ready to make an impact. So I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Think about your own workplace, or any company you know. Is recruiting treated like a simple administrative task, just about filling empty seats? Or is it treated like what it really is, the absolute core of the entire business strategy? The answer to that question, well, it tells you almost everything you need to know about where that company is headed.